It is the third weekend in August, and we're going to take a look at the garden now. As you can see, our beans in the back are very productive. We got lots of little tomatoes over there. Squash are still going very strong, and all that. So let's begin. So here with our tomatillo plants, they're doing great, growing a lot. I think this might be as big as they're going to get. The fruit, they're not that large at all. Keep waiting for them to get bigger, but I don't know if that's going to happen. The plant keeps growing, and I keep putting out more vines and stuff, and I keep trying to, hook them back in here so they don't hang out too much, but they're just not getting very huge. And then with this other little golden tomatillo, they're not getting very much bigger either. They're smaller. These ones are huge compared to these guys because they're like this size here, like a marble. So we'll have to see if they're going to get bigger. If not, then we can start picking them. I'll have to kind of look into that and see what we need to do there. With our 4 Romas, they are still looking very battered. Still have some fruit on them, still putting out some new fruit, but a lot of them have having real issues. Some of them are putting out some new growth and some new flowers. There's lots of new fruit on there, but they're just not looking very good. So I never did figure out exactly look into what's going on with them, but they're definitely struggling. But they're still producing, so that's fine. And so this one's got, see, we got new growth here and there and there. So I'm not sure exactly what it is. This one is in the shade of this shed looking thing here in the afternoon. So I don't know if that's it, if the sun's just too intense. We did have increased the watering, but it really hasn't seemed to make a difference. So not really sure, but they're still producing, and we've still got a ton of tomatoes from them, so we're happy with whatever happens. Not going to worry about it too much at this point in the season about trying to, stress out about trying to figure it out. So on the back side here, we have our 4 red okra. That little white flower there is from our very happily growing birdhouse gourd plant, and it's actually gotten up to 4.5 feet or so. Put out a flower here, put out some flowers there. There's a couple more that have already flowered and shriveled, so it's very productive and growing fast. So it looks like this must be a water or a female flower right there, just starting to form. You can see the little you can see its shape, like a little figure 8 type shape. And then our green beans are very, very productive and hanging over here. And honestly, I probably should have topped them off because they still continue to grow. They're starting to form like a wall out here, so I can't actually see what's on the fence as far as beans. We've got lots of flowers, so it probably means there's green beans in there somewhere. I'll just have to mess around and try to find them. And as you can hear, these things really love the fabric of my shirt. That's how they hold on to those things so well. So anyway, the wall of green beans is continuing to grow, and still hasn't produced any green beans. I remember that from when I planted them a couple years ago. It would take a long time to do that if you let them continue to grow. So I just didn't think about that and didn't top them off and tell them to start flowering. But they are flowering now, so we will have some green beans soon. And speaking of beans, here's our Scarlet Runner beans. Lots of pretty flowers. Now that the weather has kind of cooled off a bit and we're in basically the low 90s for most days, they have really started to thrive again. So we've got these red blossoms, Scarlet Runner beans all over the place. And even more exciting is something we haven't ever actually seen here, is these guys right here. These are the hyacinth beans, 2 different varieties. And we're finally, for the first time ever, seeing them start to flower. So we can see here, they came up, and they've got these very distinctive, very beautiful flowers there. All through there. And so very exciting about this, over here and over here and over here. So we'll have some beans, but I'm just excited that they actually grew. And it could be because and kind of the shade of the tree. So I think they get a little less heat back here, and they don't seem to like it. So there will be, I'm sure, over the next coming month or so, be even more productive because it's going to cool down more and more. So I'm very excited about that because I've never actually seen those. When we planted them last year, they just kind of died because we didn't plant them until a little bit late. And so anyhow, we're good with that. Here's our other 4 type of paste tomatoes, a different variety. This plant here is still growing up. These ones are okay. See, they got some new growth here and here and here. These 2 are not looking so hot. They basically have no new growth, no new shoots or anything, and the leaves are curled and wrinkled. So I think that they're probably not going to grow anymore, but still lots of good fruit. You see there's 3 good tomatoes right there. So I'm just going to let nature take its course here. So with our wall of indeterminate tomatoes, our 3 varieties, Yellow Pear, Juliet, and San Marzano. They are very productive. As you can see, I have let the yellow pears kind of take over the top of these guys since they're not going to grow. And there's lots of fruit still forming, lots of flowers, lots of growth. I've had to come in every week and top these off and tell them to stop growing, and they still keep doing it. But I don't want them to get much taller. I want them to just focus on being productive with the fruit down here. So we've got some nice, there's a nice yellow, they're nice and fat, plump there, all over the place. You should probably come out and harvest tomorrow. And our Juliets are looking fantastic. We really like these to eat. Now that our aromas are kind of dying down, these are much better for eating. They're smaller, you know, easier to cut and stuff. Whoop! And yeah, obviously very ripe. So they're a perfect size little grape tomato. Not, and both of these are about that size, no more. We didn't plant any of the really tiny ones because they were so labor intensive to pick and stuff. So anyway, and then our last variety over here is kind of a, let's call it mini Roma. It's a San Marzano. It's supposed to have a different flavor. I haven't really tested them. They took a long time because the plants were smaller, and you see there was 2 of them. They were smaller, and so they took a lot longer to develop, to get to the height. Because the Yellow Pear was and still is the biggest, the Juliet is the same, and the same for this one. So we haven't really seen exactly a whole lot of ripe ones yet, but want to see if there's a difference in the taste and stuff too. Plus it's nice, it's a indeterminate, so it grows up. Once again, the aromas and the health kick there, they don't just vine and vine and vine. They grow to a certain height and then they're kind of done. Or, you know, as you can see, they didn't really grow much. They're short and stocky, which is one thing, but just kind of just depends on what you want. But anyway, these are great, and we'll have plenty of fresh eaten tomatoes, even if those guys all shut down. But what we like to do is use these ones for eating, and then those ones for canning and making some sauce and salsa and all that stuff. So in here is our asparagus, and you can see right there, you can make it out, that is a juvenile, as well as that juvenile ladybug. So probably going to be hard for it to show up there, but that's what they are. And the ladybugs love this habitat, as I've shown you before, and so we just keep make sure they provide it for us. So it's fantastic because we love ladybugs. There are tons of them. There's another larvae, maybe you can see that one, looks like a little alligator with orange and black. And there's a ladybug, and ladybug, and ladybug, and orange. Just all over the place because we've had some aphid issues. So we love our ladybugs to eat those aphids. Alright, you can see the San Marzano is a little better over here. You can see everything a little bit better here because we can get a little further distance. But there's, here they are down here. Like I said, like a Roma, but smaller. Here's some fat Juliets and pears all over the place. So our squash are still doing very productive, or very well, very productive. Last year they had all died by this point, so the only reason I planted them so close is I figured they would be dead by now. But they are obviously not, which is very unusual, but good. So our yellow zucchini, golden zucchini there, still very productive. Pulled off one giant one yesterday, and I can see a few growing down there. patty pan sunburst just has one on it, I think I saw down there, which needs to be picked. And then the yellow squash over there, straight neck, was very unproductive this year due to whatever reason. Haven't seen any zucchini on the fruit on the plant. Got tons and a million leaves, but no fruit, so I'm not sure what's going on there. But it's got some flowers, so it probably will keep producing, just kind of taking a little bit of a breather here. With our peppers and eggplants, haven't seen a whole lot of new stuff on the peppers, and not a whole lot of the stuff on the eggplants either. So we'll just have to see how that goes. The corn, we grabbed some of it. It was delicious. We need to grab some more. Looks like it's definitely getting ripe. We're past that. So we're going to have some of that. That's exciting. I love this fresh sweet corn. It is fantastic. There's our wall of beans from this side. Marigolds have totally taken over those plots. Pushed the poor little banana peppers out the way. The okra have finally kind of came up now. I've had a lot of, they're the ones that struggle the most with the aphids. As a matter of fact, you can see aphids all over this part right here and here and here. That's just kind of a constant struggle with them. The aphids love the okra. Anyway, so our basil's still there. We still haven't had a single, we've had some peppers start to form like this with our chocolate bell pepper, but see, that's got the sun damage there, so it's going to have to be thrown away. Our poblanos are not going to get much bigger than this, I think, so we could probably start taking some of those and eating those, or let them grow a little more. I'll just go around the other side to show you the rest. So then our spring garden's still here. We still have some onions and beets, basil, carrots, which we just haven't been really digging into. So here's our other peppers. So these ones are mariachi. Here's our sweet peppers that we bought late. There's one that's finally got a new pepper. This one's got a new pepper, which is probably going to be ripe soon. And then here's the big gems. They're also a stuffing pepper like the poblanos. So they're starting to turn a little orangish, so I think they might be getting ripe pretty soon. And there's more of our okra. We have a few of our soybeans that popped up on this side. And so that's about it. I've also picked all the banana peppers yesterday and pickled them as well, just because I want to be able to use them up for the future. And it's a good way to get rid of a bunch of stuff. So anyway, this has been the garden for this week. As always, things are always changing, and it's very exciting. So anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.